Think you might be organizing your house the right way. You might be making some common mistakes, but don't worry, I'm gonna give you 5 common organizing mistakes that you might be making in your home. Hi everyone, I'm Sophie from Sophisticated Organization, and if you don't know me, I am a lover of all things organization, productivity, cleaning. I love sharing with others how to get more organized, as well as constantly trying to get more organized in my personal life. And I've found that there are a few different things that I have found myself making a mistake in the past, and when I talk to other people, see the same mistakes over and over again. Oftentimes people feel like they're putting in all of this effort to organize and it's just not working. Their house still feels messy and disorganized, and they try these organizational systems and they just don't work out. Again, it's probably not for lack of effort, it's the systems and methods that you're using. Mistake number 1 is storing things where you think they should go rather than where you actually are going to use them. One of the main goals and benefits of becoming more organized and working towards a more organized home is to streamline things and make them more efficient. And when you store things where you think they should go rather than where you're actually going to use them, you aren't working towards that goal. So think, for example, of the kitchen and when you're cooking. Do you want to have your spices in a pantry if that pantry is really far away from the stove and where you're cooking, or where you might be mixing something together? No, you want your spices so wherever you're doing those activities, you can easily grab them. Same goes for your morning coffee. Do you want to walk across your kitchen to go get the mug to bring it all the way over to the coffee maker? Again, no. You want to have that mug right there next to the coffee maker, so it's just an easy grab and pour your cup of morning coffee. Now, those examples, are just moving from one spot in the kitchen to the other. It's probably not that big of a deal. But when I think about my cleaning routine, for example, it might seem like a great idea to store all of your cleaning products in one place. So I have a really lovely laundry room with tons of storage. And when I first moved into this house, I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be so great. This is going to be like cleaning HQ. I'm going to store all my cleaning products here, and it will just be like the perfect home for all of my cleaning supplies, cleaning tools, products, everything. And we have a 3-story house, 2 stories in a basement, and it turned out to be such an absolute pain to lug things up and down into different rooms. So I've kind of done a hybrid model for cleaning supplies, and that might work for different areas as you think things through. So let me explain. I found the best way to handle cleaning is to start first with the areas that I'm constantly cleaning. So back to the kitchen, I'm always spraying down and wiping off countertops, so I need to make sure I have the proper cleaning supplies in my kitchen. That's like a no-brainer. I need to have a multi-surface cleaner. Of course, I want to have cleaners that are relevant to the kitchen, like dishwasher tabs and things like that. So I have one of each type of cleaner that I might use in my kitchen. If you are cleaning your bathrooms often, it might be helpful to have like a glass cleaner, a multi-surface cleaner, and a toilet cleaner in each of your main bathrooms that you're cleaning really often. You can go with the cleaning caddy method to carry it around a little bit easier, but other things that you don't have multiple of, it's not going to make sense to have one in each room or one in each area that you're cleaning. For example, a vacuum. I used to store my vacuum downstairs, and most of our carpeted areas and areas that I was vacuuming are actually upstairs. So I switched it. I actually worked to get an outlet in the cleaning closet up here. So my vacuum is now where it is used the most. And then I'm only inconvenienced sometimes to bring it downstairs when I'm vacuuming the stairs or other carpeted areas. And then sometimes want to vacuum wood floors or other floors, but in the meantime, I got myself a broom and dustpan that I can use for the main living area if I need to get up little particles. You might also have to get a little bit creative trying to store things where you use them the most often or where you're going to use them, because there might not be storage in that particular place. So don't be afraid to add shelving, install hooks. This is where you get creative with organizational solutions that are making your life easier and making it so you can grab things where you're actually using them. Mistake number 2 is over-organizing. And oh my gosh, if there's one of these that I'm probably most guilty of, is over-organizing. I get so excited for all of the bins and labels and all of those things, but you can take it too far. And like I said, I have been there. When you start adding too many bins and too many labels, first of all, it literally and figuratively puts you into a box. So it makes it more difficult when things are going to change. When I label different items in boxes, I try and keep that label really, really broad so that I can switch it out without having to create new labels or feel like I'm stuck with the label that I've already created. Again, let's use the kitchen example. In my kitchen, I have pantry containers and I have one that says nuts on it. And I can put cashews in there, and then if I decide, you know what, we're not really eating these cashews, but we have almonds all the time, I can switch it out for almonds and I don't have to relabel it. I can visually see the difference between a cashew and an almond. I don't need it specifically to say one versus the other. In my kids' rooms, I have different bins that say like blankets or memories in their closet. And I also have one for miscellaneous backstock because my kids are really young, and as they're growing, I've started off with that miscellaneous backstock being diapers and wipes and diaper cream to it being pull-ups. That just evolves as they get older. The other issue with over-organizing is it makes it much more difficult for you, yourself, and the rest of your family to stick to the organizational system. You want to make it as simple and easy as possible to maintain. And when you have to open up a box and then another box and then another box and then like file something in it to put one item away, you are far more likely just to put it to the side and say, I'll deal with that later, rather than trying to find the exact right home for this item. Just keep it as simple as possible. Remember, organization is about function first, not perfection. And I'm saying that to you, but I'm also reminding myself it's not about perfection. We are trying to make things more functional. Mistake number 3, not decluttering before organizing. This is something that I really, really try and focus in on my home before I go in and reorganize any space. Step number 1 is, what can I get rid of? Because it doesn't make sense to start to figure out how to best utilize your space for a bunch of items that you don't even need. So step 1 is always the declutter phase. I find this mistake can be most problematic when people get excited for an organizing project and go out and buy all of those bins and containers to get organized before decluttering, because they are trying to find bins and containers for the items that they see in that area. And without decluttering, you don't, again, know what you're organizing, and you're probably buying too many bins or bins for things that you're not even going to keep. So try to hold off, do that decluttering first, and then you can figure out what products you actually need. And if you are looking to have some more tips on decluttering, first of all, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. I have so many videos on decluttering, or videos where I'm decluttering my home and you can watch for motivation. I love doing that with other YouTube videos and pressing play while I sit and declutter, because it's just inspiring and motivating, and sometimes they give me different ideas or ways to think about how to declutter. So I'm not going to go too into depth. You can also join my 6-month decluttering challenge, which we are in the middle of right now. I have an ebook on my website, and you can just kind of follow along here on YouTube and on Instagram. Mistake number 4 is using the wrong storage solutions. And this can be really difficult when you're just kind of getting into organizing and you don't really know what you're doing. And it's hard for me to give broad strokes advice because it might depend on the specific space, but you need to think about the broader idea of organizing that we've talked about, making your life easier, making it functional and as simple as possible to get what you need, to store what you need, all of that. So when you think about storing a little tiny item that you might need to go find, you don't want it to be floating around in a really big giant bin. Again, we don't want to over organize, but you want it to be contained in an appropriate size container so you can easily access that item. Trust me when I say that deep bins can turn into a black hole where things disappear. Now, another related thing here is sometimes the issue in choosing your organizational systems and storage containers is that you choose something that is more aesthetically pleasing over the functionality. Again, this is one of the areas that I find myself falling into. You have to think about you and your kind of organizing personality, if there is one. If you are somebody that needs to visually see something, then you're probably going to want to go for clear containers so you can see what's in there. That might not be the aesthetic look that you're going for, and you would prefer to have opaque containers so it doesn't show the clutter. But if you're not going to remember what's in there, or you need to be reminded visually of what's in a certain bin, then you probably want to opt for something that's clear and push the aesthetics aside a little bit for that functionality. Another thing I always think about is accessibility. So if I'm going to go in and try to grab an item in a certain space I'm organizing, how easy is it for me to go in there? Can I do it with one hand? Do I have to, if things are stacked, move different containers or move items off of the other thing to get what I'm going to? I always think about filing items rather than stacking them. I do that everywhere. The greatest example is in your dresser with clothing. That KonMari method of folding and the file folding where you can easily see all of your clothing items really became popular. And I think it's such a great visual and example of this. Previously, the most popular way to store your clothing in a drawer was just to stack it. But let's say you're trying to find your favorite t-shirt, you have to move all of the other t-shirts off of that one to grab what you're looking for. When it's file folded, you can easily see your t-shirt, pull it out without disturbing the others. I use this method in my freezer. I use it, I'm telling you, absolutely everywhere. I always try to file, not pile. I love that phrase. Mistake number 5 is not taking the time to maintain your system. I cannot say this enough. Organizing is not a one and done solution. You can't go somewhere, organize a space and say, great, we're set for life. This pantry is perfectly organized. Give it 4 weeks and a perfectly organized pantry without any form of maintenance is going to turn into a disaster very quickly. A drawer that started off neat is going to turn into a junk drawer in no time. Or what about your closet and you have an exciting event that you're really looking forward to and you want to wear your best outfit, so you end up trying on 10 or 15 different things and you don't hang them up and you leave them on your floor. That closet that was organized an hour ago, no longer organized. And if you keep building those things up and you don't put things away properly, maintain that system, it can deteriorate really quickly. But beyond that, even if you are, for the most part, maintaining the system that you set in place, think even longer term, over a span of months or even years. Your lifestyle is going to change, your circumstances are going to change. Maybe you have a new job than you had previously, and the way you stored your papers and your files is now different or not as useful as it was before. Or maybe you have a new baby, or you had kids in the home and then they go to college, or your husband retires and is spending more time at home. Again, so many different things. Those are large ones, but there's smaller ones that can just kind of change your preferences. You acquire something new in your house that kind of changes the flow of how you do things. Think through all of those things in terms of your maintenance as well, beyond the day-to-day of, yes, I need to put things away in their proper spot, but what the proper spot is might need to be updated every now and then as well. I hope that was helpful. Again, these 5 mistakes are so common. As a quick recap, you want to store items where you use them, not just where they should go. Avoid over complicating your organizational system. Declutter first before organizing. Use the right storage solutions for functionality, and maintain your systems with regular check-ins. I hope you found this video helpful. If you are guilty of one of these mistakes or found one in particular to be the most helpful, let me know in the comments below. We are just finishing up decluttering our living spaces in the Sophisticated Declutter over the next few weeks. We're doing some junk drawer stuff next week, and I would love for you again to be subscribed to my channel, follow along on Instagram, and until next time, I will see you all later.